show and we'll fly. You don't have to feel like you're on your own. No one should have to dance alone, not tonight. For somebody to make memories in a bank forever in time. There's no reason to be hard to find, 'cause we've already lost our mind. You and me, we're gonna write a little history. You and me, just show me love and then you'll see.
They haven't set up their positions well, allowing cats. Oh my god! Good evening, everyone on the Asia server, and good afternoon to those of you watching from the EU server. We're back with the Go series, the first edition. We're following Team ID once again, and it will be legendary. Here is the format for the Bronze Series tournament. I'm not going to repeat once again, so if you want to have a look at the format for the Bronze series, pause the stream and have a read. More importantly, it's all about the Gold series format. Yesterday we had an 8-team single elimination and a top 4 advance to today, where it's going to be a 4-team double elimination. I'm not very sure about the schedule, so it could be a lot different than what I think. Each group can have as many as 8 teams, and games are spread across 2 days. So ignore the schedule for now. The timeline. Here are all the match days for this season. Thank you to Winterfox for this amazing graphic. And this is Team ID's lineup. We have Campen as the captain of the team. We also have Active Duty, Landy, Van Persie, Onyu, Radioactive, Frozen, Last Up for me, LDS, and Spartan Sword. Here's my top 8 guests. This will change after tonight. So let's go and see. Let's look at this. This is a table, cups table. We have top 8 currently being Feast, GV, HLV, E7K, IDEA, and 9V. All of them are playing tonight. And we are following Group 2. I don't know exactly how the bracket is formed, so there might be changes with the positioning of some of the clans. And I will have to double check with the website. I think I have it. on my screen. So I'm going to hop over to the website and see if I can get a complete bracket. Hopefully I'll get a complete bracket. That would be brilliant. And otherwise, enjoy tonight's matches, and hopefully I'm still alive after staying up for really late for the NA server. But we still have only 1 minute left to go. Yeah, it's not reloading here, so it might reload when we have some results coming through. Just going to get something from the containers. Hello, Phoenix. How you doing? And yeah, I only had around like 6 hours of sleep, so I think tomorrow, tonight as well, it will be very draining. Hopefully I have 4 days of break, so Bronze Series probably will still be only following Asia server, because I don't want to stay up late like every single day for NA. It's not going to be good. But for the EU server, it's also a different story. Basically, just if you're unlucky enough, so to speak, following a really good team, and then you are drawn into a group, which sometimes happens. You're like the only team that is really good, and it can happen. Okay, it seems that HLV are on the other side. Let me change that really quickly. So now you should be seeing ID on the red team and HLV on the blue team. And let's actually hop over to the waiting room now. ID versus HLV. ID is trickling in. Trickling in. While HLV also in now. Vineyards is a map that is it's very undulated, and the city area is relatively small. So the undulation and the openness would mean medium to lights and hold down tanks would be much more favored than heavily armored tanks. So you probably won't see a lot of them, but sometimes you might play onto the city side to look at sea basically. So an IS-4 or maybe even a mouse. So I don't recommend a mouse though. You might be seeing at least one of them near the city side. So is it going to be the case for both teams, or are they not going to take any IS-4 or U100 or mouse at all? We'll find out soon. Hello, what's are you doing? Okay, so we are seeing HLV is going to have IS-4. As for ID, Spartan Sword wants to play the T23 E3, but you can't. If you're ready up in the T23 E3, and the timer has the timer it's counted down to the 0th second, then HLV will get a technical victory. So don't do that. We'll announce the lineup once both teams are ready. Seems both teams are still deciding their setup, but HLV seems to be ready now to go. They are going with triple crown bargains by Safety Zone from Abyss and Left Behind, double IS-4 by 7710 and Ball Sorte, Koyu in the T185 and Sarutsu in the Vickers Light. On the other hand, ID will be playing, will be going for double crown bargains by Active Duty and Radioactive, or as we can say, Radioactive Duty. It's a good name. Lanny is now in the T135 alongside Van Persie. And LDS in the M60. We also have Campen playing in the batch chats. From the south side, it's going to be very interesting to see how that batch chat is going to work. Because usually you will find it on the north side, just going straight to the northwestern corner sometimes, or maybe close to B, to either reset B or get spots up. So from the south side, I don't know where that batch chat will go. Spartan Sword can't play the batch chat 25 AT AP 25 TAP, so he's going to take an M60 instead alongside LDS. And this is going to be legendary. ID versus HLV. ID winner of the last year's summer season. HLV winner of last year autumn season. This is going to be a huge fight, and we are here for this. And who will come on top? We'll find out soon. The loser of this will go into the lower bracket first round. I'm making the bracket. I mean, I have the bracket with me, based on the assumption that the upper bracket final and the lower bracket first round are held at the same time, but it doesn't seem to be the case, because the maximum time for this tournament is actually lower. Slightly lower, not a lot lower, but I got the wrong transition. Let me just change that real quick, and you will find the right one next. Hello, Kuga, how are you doing? Here we are. ID versus HLV on Vineyards. Let's head up high into the back of the sky, out onto the sky, into the stratosphere. Campen, playing in the back chat, looking to go into the northwestern corner. Will he get a lot of spots up? We'll find out soon. He himself is spotted though by Sarutsu. He's going to get into the ruins. Oh, it's just an interesting play, but I don't say he's able to reset Sarutsu though. That would give HLV the cap lead, and Campen takes a hit though, and B is not getting captured by Sarutsu, is now trying to run away from the crossfire and crashes into the rock. Luckily, you won't receive damage for crashing into stuff, so he is lucky about this. And C will be captured potentially by HLV as well, so this is going to be interesting. But they're also giving up A, or maybe not, because the Kramvagers are at the back, so they can't really go for A. And with HLV taking control over C, ID have to make a move very quickly, because the cap points will will increase by 10 points per second for HLV, 5 points only for ID. So if ID doesn't act quickly, HLV would get this win with caps. So ID has to figure out what to do, but this is kind of a common situation within yachts that C will be captured, and the other team who is defending needs to act quickly in what to do. The not so experienced clan would probably panic, but for clans like ID, they are experienced in this one. They have a lot of history and working around this. So what would they do here? HLV actually making a counter push now onto Lanny from Percy and Campen. So is this going to be a good move by HLV? But Campen's just going in. I don't know why, but he's going to be killed soon.
He's lucky he's still alive, but he's not at all now. Sarutsu kills off Campen. And now ID is now pushing onto the 7710. He is the isolated tank here, but ID is now capturing C as well by radioactive. HLV will need to get the kills off. Van Persie is now the isolated tank for ID. Meanwhile, ID is now going for the middle side, but they are now getting countered by the left behind. But both sorted. This is getting really close actually. Van Persie is now dead, and HLV still with a lot of caps though. But now ID is looking for A as well. So now HLV are left with little choice but to actually kill all 7 tanks here. A is now getting it's not getting captured by ID. HLV has all the forces there, but Lanny is now dropping the reactive armor. ID has to kill the tanks off. They don't have the hit point advantage. They don't have the gun advantage. They need to get a focus fire right, but Spartan Sword still really healthy with that shot. I don't know what happened there. Lanny is now going to die, and HLV will get the first match. Ooh, interesting stuff. A bit worried about HLV for a moment when they almost lost all 3 caps, but it's not. But no team would like to rotate when they allow the other team to have 2 caps and 10 cap points per second. It's bound to. I mean, the teams will definitely suffer. Or as I say, the teams would definitely have a hard time figuring out where HLV's tanks are positioned. They have to act quickly, and ID was a little bit nervous right here, and they tried their best, but it wasn't really enough, to be honest with you. There are some isolated tanks, and not sure what happened to Camper right here. Should not have went in as the first tank, because Batchat is really low, really poor in armor, and now let's continue. And it means it's 1-0 for HLV. Okay, so you all voting for ID, I believe. This is an ID stream, so you're going to vote for ID. Hello Brooklyn. How you doing? Yes, you're jinxing ID, but now HLV got the first win. So if ID lost this one, I blame you, viewers. You are the ultimate jinxers, not me. So stop jinxing, please. ID. Into the second match of Vineyards, I think they want to make sure HLV would not get C-Cap once again. Hi Sponge, sleep. Don't be like me staying up late. Maybe you just like watching my streams, probably. And now ID on the north side, meanwhile HLV on the south side. ID is going to play with double Ice 4, double Crown, triple T135 with HLV going for double Ice 4, double Crown, double T135 and a Vicus Light. So let's see where they're going now. ID still going for A and middle side. Oh, they're already spotted by Sarutsu. Going near the wide barrel. And got 3 caps, 3 tags spotted. Sarutsu trying to capture B, but he can capture and a bit not so carefully, because ID they're not sending. They don't have any mediums or lights here on Vineyards. It's going to be an interesting call. I don't really like this call though, but Spartan Sword has received a hit. Sarutsu, oh, I think he might be trapped. He needs to run away though, because I think the rest of ID's forces will be looking for Sarutsu. He's not running away though. I don't know why. Sarutsu needs some help from HLV. And here we are, the help from the Crom Vargans. Active Duty receives a ton of damage, trying to hold down there, but it doesn't seem to be successful though. we also see Lanny now looking for Sarutsu. Sarutsu not running away. I think that would be a bad idea. That means ID will have a gun advantage. Sarutsu is now dead. Hit points are still with ID at the moment here, but it's neck and neck. HLV on the other hand is making a push on the other side. I think they made this push while ID kind of hesitated a bit in rushing Sarutsu here. And that could be costly though. HLV will be looking for active duty because he's lower in health, but LDS took a bunch of damage on the other side. And active duty is now dead, and HLV will be looking for Camper next because he has lower health. But at the same time, ID is going to capture B, but I don't think that will help them a lot because hit point wise, HLV is leading by a lot. And here we are, Camper's now dead. ID is looking for Koyu next, but he has dropped the reactive armor. LDS is dead. Spartan Sword is dead. That means it's going to be 3 versus 6. And with Koyu now killed as well, Last for me is going to receive hits. And Radioactive is now looking for Ball Sortie, I believe. But Last for me is going to be under attack by 7710. That behind the focus for ID. And HLV has 2 caps with ID with none. So even if HLV aren't able to go off all the ID's forces, they will still win by caps. Ball Sortie is now dead. That means it's going to be 3 versus 4. HLV has to be mindful of this. They don't want to throw away such an comfortable win. Lab behind is now dead, but Last for me is now dead, leaving Radioactive and Lanny the last persons standing. Safety zone with that terrible bounce, but from Abyss finishes Radioactive off, saving safety zone from the terrible from the horrendous embarrassment. And now it's going to be 2-0 for HLV. Match point to HLV. ID hasn't woken up yet. It's probably that Vineyards is ID's less good ID's weaker map. And HLV, 5 tanks do more than 2000 damage. ID needs to wake up. Oh, sorry. It's a best of 3, not a best of 5. I forgot about that. It's a best of 5. A best of 3. So, HLV are through to the next round. That means, what about ID will be going to the lower bracket. Let's see about this. What's the next battle for ID? Oh, we're waiting. Well, we don't know the time. On the other hand, GB versus Kane. They are still playing. EA. Against Feast. Oh, they've beaten Feast 2-0, so well done to them. Okay, so the upper bracket is going to be held it's going to be held next upper bracket finals. It is E7 has won against 9V. I believe. Yes, 2-0 it is. So we are waiting for K versus GV. It's good. They're still playing. How about the lower bracket first round? 9V against Feast. Oh, it will be held immediately after. Okay. Okay, interesting. I didn't know that. Alright. Okay, we're just waiting for Kane against GV, and then we will hop into the next one. Let me double check whether the official website has updated the bracket.
Nope. They're not showing the bracket to us, so we kind of have to guess the seeding from Wargaming about that. So far, they're still playing. Hello, master of Russian tank side. Oh my god, birdsing. Bye, Brooklyn. Okay, while we're waiting, I'm gonna have some apples. So I think I have to change this. Thank you for subscribing, whoever it is. Well, let's update the cops actually. That means at least. HLV, E7 and EA will get the 3rd place. And the score, the double cups. It's not changed by a lot actually. EA has not overtaken EA though, ID though, and we're waiting for Kane. Oh, room is up. Let's go. Let's get into the room then. It's going to be ID versus Kane. So I suppose Kane lost to GV12, isn't it? Yes, it is the case. So commiserations to Kane, and let's see about this game here. It will be interesting to see how it's going to go. So I think I got the right side. ID should be on the red team, Kane on the blue team. So I believe it should appear correctly. And I will change this as well. Whoever loses this one will be out of this tournament. Let's hope it's not ID, because I don't know if my stream will continue. If it's not the case, then I would say thank you all for watching. And if it's the if it's not the case, then
continue watching. But we'll have to kind of wait.
Nicola, probably not a good thing to say. Anyway. I'm just going to, oh, actually I'm not going to do that. Here we are, just, come on, can I switch? Yeah, I mean, if you don't want me to stream, then I think for you just stop watching this stream and just go back and have some good lunch. If you're from the EU server, but anyway, let's actually get this one running. Here we are. It's a best of 3 once again. I forgot it's a best of 3. For all the rounds tonight, except the grand final, which will be a best of 5. So here we are. Kane, we will have non-Yusuke in the IS4 alongside Ronnie Patel. Kran will be played by Asian. Wei, the T135 alongside Roadblock. Roadblock was in Feast. He has come back to Kane now. Light in the quickest light and Extremist the Mouse. Meanwhile, we have ID going with Double Crown by Campen and Landy, Active Duty in the AMXTB, Last Hope for Me in the T125 alongside On You, LDS in the Mouse, and Radioactive in the M6U. So only a minute left to go, and Oasis Palms a map that is quite big. You have or put it this way, you have a lots of space to run around, so that feels big. And because it's also quite open and there is a lot of terrain too, mediums or lights would be preferred. So ID is going to take a bigger slide at least, and Kane will be taking a bigger slide too. You might see sometimes a gorilla being used, particularly on the south side, because the map is so open. You might be able to put some shots out while both of the teams are brawling, but that's also a risky move because you're basically doing a 6 vs 7 in the front line, and that sometimes might not be helpful if the other team is able to get cover and not get shot by that gorilla. I digress. Here we are, red team. We have Team ID versus Kane, and I believe I got the right side. Yes, I got the right side. So let's head up high. Then, Kane, blue team, north spawn, committing mostly to A, with ID south spawn, red team, and we are seeing Radioactive spawning up Extremist, and Dharma is in a very interesting position. I don't know if he can spot anything from here. It's too far back. He is relying on his view range, but sometimes it's sometimes people are overestimating the view range. Great reset shot by Dharma onto Radioactive here. It has good view range, but don't forget, tanks have camo rating too, and when they are sitting in bushes and when they stop moving, they have even better camo rating. So don't overestimate your view range. The cap points are with King at the moment. They got A more quickly than ID, so it's going to be ID that needs to make a move, but LDS would be in the middle trying to prevent King to get into B, but he has to be also careful not to drop unnecessary hit points. So he's going to move back a little bit. Extremist is also taking some hits though. Great shots by ID to chip away the hit points of Extremist. And Landy's going into this going into the ramp here. Thank you, Sponge, for this. Landy might be getting some spots up. Or is it not? Kane. They have to defend, but
I would say A is not a great cap to defend. Basically, when ID rotates, you have these small low buildings that can act as a shield, and your view range, your overview can be blocked by these buildings from the other side, I mean Kane. So when ID forces are spotted, they will be spotted at a really close position. As you can see, Huawei is under a lot of trouble. He is dropping a lot of hit points, so great job to ID for chipping away hit points. And now Kane is down by more than 2,000 hit points, so ID has a great has a great control of the tempo here, and they're piling more pressure on Kane. They lost Huawei now. ID has a cap point advantage, but at the same time we have Ronnie Patel and Azuyan looking for last one for me, but they're not focusing. They look quite confused. Long U6 is now dead, so it's now going to be 7 versus 5. Look at the hit point push sharing by ID. It's pretty darn impressive. But Extreme is going to go down very soon. Last one for me is going to run away from this onslaught by King, but he is not going to survive. Ronnie Patel kills off last one for me. Roadblock is now going to be rammed by Onyu, LDS, but Onyu kills off Roadblock here. And Lalai Dharma is going to be the next tank for ID. Next tank to kill. And you're seeing it's 5 versus 3. Kane fell apart, couldn't really defend the cap lead. I mean, they had B as well, but it will not help anything at all because ID have more than 800 cap points and they are close to winning this one. They will be killing Ronnie Patel, which is going to be the last person standing. The active duty is going to put a great shell into Ronnie Patel, and Ronnie Patel is now dead. And it's a very decisive, comfortable win by ID. You would have thought that ID would have some trouble in rotating in the rotation because ID is under a cap point disadvantage. But King, I think they are not taking the best positions here. They kind of, I think particularly Huawei is not in a hold down position that which allowed ID to focus it down relatively easily. So King has to be mindful of the next one. If they want to defend a cap lead, they need to get better positions to do so. So we are going to be heading into the second match of Oasis Palms. ID versus King. Oh, so Kane is going to do the Nicolay the end game strategy. Azuyan in the Gorilla. We're also seeing Dalai Lama in Vegas Light and Morphic in the T22, but I don't think it would be a good idea to take a TD and 2 mediums of lights because the hit points you're going to have a big hit point deficit, but it's going to be reduced by the use of mouse and double crown bargain, and Gorilla is going to be dropped. ID is going to commit with triple crown bargains by Captain Activity and LDS, landing in on your double T175, Radioactive in the Vegas Light, and Spartan Sword in the IS4. And it's a match point to ID, so we'll keep on streaming, don't worry about that. Here we go. Second match on Oasis Palms. ID, this time on the north spawn, King on the south spawn. Oh, thank you for subscribing, Prayer Sam. That's really nice of you. I'm almost to 2,000 subscribers, so I might have to prepare something for this. Radioactive is now in the Vegas Light. It's going to get some spots up. Spot up more Victor.
both of them can't connect. Hello, Ante, how you doing? Kane is going to spread out quite a little bit, but the mediums and lights are going to run away because they sport up Spartan swords, so they think that something's wrong. Something's not going right for the seaside, and I think they had a good. They aren't really running away though, but if they don't, Triple Crown bargains. I don't think Kane will be happy about this. Remember, it's a best of 3 series. If they lose this one, they're out of this group, and Lalai Dharma is now trapped on 1 shot, and nothing you could do to salvage this situation. They have left it way too late, and Cam and LDS will be looking to kill off Lalai Dharma, and it's going to be 7:56 for ID. King are left with little choice but to rush now, because otherwise they are going to continue with a huge hit point pool deficit. Chance to Virtue also got B sneakily. That would force ID to make a move as soon as possible, but Lanny and Onyu are trying to come up. They're trying to run away from this situation now. Onyu is in deep trouble, so actually Kane responded really well after losing Lalai Dharma. On the other hand, ID is going to kill off Asunyon, and it's going to be the case. And are they going to focus the mouse though? I don't think so. Active duty is kind of notched, with Ronnie Patel going to be the next tank down for King, and ID is leading by more than 3,000 hit points. Almost 4,000 hit points in fact. More Victor is going to be the next tank down for Kane. And simply this match, ID is doing a focus fire practice here, and it's working really well. Roadblock is now really very low, but Camper doesn't even bother to reload his second shell and kills off more Victor, and that means Roadblock is going to be the next tank down, and it's now 5 versus 2. Spartan Sword is now dead. Long Yusk is under a lot of trouble, and Chance the Virgil in that mouse. ID is leaving the mouse till the last. This is always a good thing to see. Long Yusk is going to be killed by LDS, leaving Chance the Virgil the last person standing. ID are through to the lower bracket final. And Chance the Virgil is now down to a 1 shot, and this is a lot better performance by ID. Well done to ID, and commiserations to Kane. Spartan Sword say, why you 0 honor? Oh yeah, where is Amir Honor? I forgot his in-game name, so he could be one of them. There, Chunks the Virtue, I believe, isn't it? But King, Lalai Dharma doing 0 damage, got shut down so early by ID, but it's more of a punishment for Lalai Dharma not running away quickly enough. Kane tried to salvage this match by pushing immediately, and that almost hid the fact that they lost 1 tank for free, but it wasn't really the case. ID is just finding isolated targets really well. The focus fire is on point. 4 tanks doing more than 2,000 damage, and we are now going to be seeing the lower bracket finals, and we will have to wait. We're going to wait a few minutes here. So I'm going to play on the Asia server because I can. It's going to be 2-0 for ID, and let's see about 9v versus Feast. Hi, D-Tank. What are you doing? On the other hand, let's also look at okay, 9v lost to Feast 0-2. Okay, so as for the Silver Series, there are only 5 teams. PGMT. Oh, duh. What's going on? They lost. They lost to Wild 0-2 after winning them 3-0 yesterday. And they're still playing against UI though.
it could go into a match, into a tiebreaker. So this is going to be exciting to watch. A wild, great job this time round. So many Geralds. They also have a gold ticket here, but I think they went for silver because I think they know they have a higher chance to succeed there, and that's, I think, is a good idea by them. And I think Wargaming is going to fix this problem whereby if you finish 4th place in the first day, you're going to finish I mean, if you finish 4th in the first on the first day of silver and 4th on the second day, then you'll get more cups than the team finishing in the getting out of the gold series first round. Let's also update the cups here. Hello, Winterfox. Oh, thank you, Winterfox. Thanks for supporting my stream, as always. Thank you very much. Let's get the... Let's get this. Asia server. We know Kane are out. Idea through at least will be getting the 3rd place. At the same time, Feast will be getting at least the 3rd place, while we'll find out soon about the lower bracket. We know PGMT and Wild are through, so the leaderboard is going to look like this. Okay, so PGMT and Wild, they have Wild has overtaken RN and DCG, not PGMT and UI at the moment. Still in the 9th place, but could be overtaken if they finish 4th tonight. At the same time, Feast is back in the 1st place. Have to mark this. Forgot to mark GV as well. Meanwhile, we have 9V and 9V finishing with the 8th place tonight, and they will be behind by around 1,000 cups. So they have to. So it all depends on the 2nd and 3rd gold and silver series now. Okay, let's look at the silver series here. Der and UI, they're still playing. Der has won UI 2-1, so it is not a good night at the moment for Der, but UI has at least won a match against Der, so at least UI is still really strong. But they are not going to overtake RN and ECG tonight. Meanwhile, Der is going to be in the... Der is going to be in the 9th place still. Okay, let me play a match then. While we wait. Let me grind some tanks. I still have the Yaguru. I'll grind that. Yaguru is a very hard tank to play, so I want to get a tier 10 tank. So let me play this with this tank. And here we go.
I'll go to the northeastern corner. LA saying we are, Ferrari saying we are nuts. You all are. So also try shoot. Oh, how did I bounce that? I mean, 215 be bouncing me. Yeah, might not be in a good position, but anyway. Might be better off to get the gorilla instead of the 215B. The 215B is farming me horribly. Yeah, I want that E100 to push up for me, so I don't get farmed by that 215B. It's still really healthy, so push up. Thank you. That will be a lot better now. Oh dear. Now I have more control in this area, but that E100 died, so that's not. Anyway, should I push up earlier? Then I would not have taken so much hits by the E215B. It was like free real estate for them. I'm not going to play one more because I think the room might be up soon. Do we have resubs already for EA vs C7? They're still playing. G vs HLV. Raju saying I love Feast. I'm sure you love Feast. They're still playing. As for Silver Series, DGMT vs Wild. They're still playing. Yeah, I'm doing some strands. Right. Okay. I don't know what else to do apart from waiting because I don't know when the match will end. It could go into a tiebreaker, so I would just keep on waiting and. And they're still playing. Could go into tiebreaker. EA vs E7, they're still playing. Don't know much yet. Let's see. I'm just going to reload the website and see if the bracket is showing up or not. Doesn't seem to be the case. So we're just going to wait still. Oh, meanwhile, I think I will probably update the power rating. I'll definitely do some typing and then. Let's see if there are any interesting changes. In particular, I think fees losing to EA would mean EA would get a lot of points tonight. And let me double check let me check once again. Oh, it seems PGMT has beaten Wild 2-0, so they are through to the grand finals, and it seems the grand final is going to happen right after as well. And how about is it going to happen right after? It is going to happen right after, so everything's going to happen right after tonight. So that means potentially NA stream is going to be really short, which is really good, so I can sleep and prepare for the next day for the Asia server bronze series. Once again. Hello Chippy Chips, how are you doing? Okay, EA versus E7. They lost to E7 0-2. Meanwhile, GB and HLV are still playing. They are still playing, so it's heading to a tiebreaker now. And E7 are through to the grand final. Actually, no, I think this is going to be a bit misleading, so I'm actually not going to say where the next match is. Oh, we got the results. GB versus HLV. GB won HLV 2-0. They are long games. GB are through to the grand final, and it's going to be once again ID versus HLV. We are on Yamato Harbor. Power rating looks quite interesting now. Has dropped down by quite a lot, actually, because they lost to Wild 0-2. Wild is now back in the top 6. Well, I would see how much of the change it was. PGMT is now in the 10th position, so absolutely a lot of things have changed. Feast has dropped to the 2nd place. EA gained a lot, now in 7th. Oh, so this is going to get really interesting now. And let me double check. It's a 2-0 for GV. No. I'm following the team, not the bracket, so I can't do that. So let's change. Lower bracket finals. Around 2 minutes left. Yamato Harbor is it's a map that was most recently added back to the tier 10 map pool. I don't really like I don't really like some of the maps making an appearance once again. I think Canyon will be one of them. Yamato Harbor, I don't think it's a terrible map, but a lot of clans don't like Yamato Harbor. And then you have Himmelsdorf, which is not hated by the competitive tournaments, so tournament teams. So let's see what both is going to be taken. HLV, we will be having Double Crown by Safety Zone and From Abyss, Double IS4 by 7010 are left behind, Koyu in the T135 and Sumitsu playing in the T22 medium, and Joyce Q and the Mouse. On the other hand, we have ID going with Campen in the IS4. Active duty in the Vegas like double T125 by Last of Premier Radioactive, but double 268. Oh, I don't see that. I never see that in tournaments ever since the Fortress get buffed. To be honest with you, and not even. I mean, obviously not after the heavies got buffed as well. LDS will be in the Mouse. Yeah. So I kind of have to. I mean, I don't know the timing of this one. I just only know it now. The upper bracket final and the upper bracket first round. They're only given a standard time, and 10 more seconds left to go. We are playing Yamato Harbor. Let's go. HLV, I forgot to announce their lineup, so I'm going to announce it now. Once we are into the game. 7-0 and left behind. Double IS4, Double Crown by From Abyss and Safety Zone Mouse will be played by Joyce Q with Sarutsu the T22 medium and Koyu in the T125.
I'm not sure about double 268, especially for the north side. Usually, I think the south side makes a lot more sense, but you never know. But they have to do a lot better in the trading aspect. Spartan Sword going to the bush there to snipe, and Lanny going into the corner there also to snipe. Sarutsu spotted, Active Duty is also spotted. I think this could be a make or break strategy for ID. Don't know which one is going to. Don't know if it's going to be the best idea, but you never know. A is going to be captured by ID. Don't think it's possible. Campen is there. Left behind, however, is quite isolated. HLV has spread out so much. I mean, ID to be honest, yes. But left behind, potentially 1 versus 3. But HLV also playing it really defensively. Hit points still with HLV, however, they chipped away a lot of hit points of left behind. But themselves, Radioactive and Campbell also lost some hit points here. Active Duty is going to be tasked to get a lot of spots in, and HLV might be looking to cap C, but I'm not sure why. And Joycelyn here is going to C with a mouse. It's a bit weird, but Fremab is getting absolutely hammered by the Object 268 and Campbell while crossing. And Spartan Sword is going to put another great shell into From Abyss. There will be no match for 3rd place because the lower bracket final would decide the 3rd place. And we are seeing Camper now going from behind. Hit points are with Team ID now. Oh, he receives a double tap. Unable to push out onto From Abyss, but Camper is now going to be the focus. A lot of stuff is happening now. Spartan Sword is now going to be shut down, but HLV is now down to a 1-shot. He has to be really careful, but still hit points are with ID. Left behind is now killed, and Safety Zone is now down to a 1-shot. Spartan Sword is going to be still alive. Safety Zone is now dead, so ID has trained a lot better than HLV in this game, and thanks to actually 268. HLV unable to shut down ID's forces, so ID proved to be wrong. The 268 definitely worked, and Sarutsu kills off Spartan Sword. That means it's going to be 5 versus 4 for Team ID though. Hit points still with ID, but they can't focus the mouse, so they want to kill off Sarutsu. I think this is the tag they want to go for. Radioactive now down to a 1-shot, but it's a bounce onto Sarutsu here. Great bounce right here. And Active Duty bounces as well onto Sarutsu, so the bounces they are doing, it could hurt their chances there. But hit points are still in firm favor of ID, so I don't think HLV is going to make a comeback here, despite Sarutsu doing his best, the best he could to bounce shots. From Abyss now down to a 1-shot, and Joycelyn is killed. Last of me is killed, so 7 will know it's going to the next focus, and From Abyss now really low. Active is going to kill off From Abyss, and that leaves LDS and Landy trying to kill off 7 will know, and that means first win goes to ID in in a surprising turn of events. Alex, yeah, well, happy for you if you're really that, but we have ID 6 tanks more than 2000 damage, HLV 4 tanks more than 2000 damage. The 268 Lanny doing 5084 damage. Don't underestimate the 268s. I think with this kind of play here, I do see 268 making a comeback on some of the maps, like Oasis Palm. So don't underestimate 268 underestimate at your own peril. So let's go. Second match on Yamato Harbor. ID leading 1-0. Here we are. ID double IS4. Double IS4 by Campen, and last one will be double crown by Active Duty Radioactive, otherwise known as Radioactive Duty. Landing in the T135, Spartan Sword in the Vickers Light LDS in the bows. On the other hand, HLV double crown by Safety Zone and from a boost. Similar will know and left behind double IS4 and Joy Solo Q in the bows. We also have Koyu T135 and Sarutsu in the T22. ID dropping the double 2-8. The main reason why they won last game, so it's going to hurt their chances this time. We'll find out soon. It could backfire. I love the 2-8. I think we are all underestimating the TDs to some extent, especially the 2-8. Hello Blue, how are you doing?
Let's get this show on the road.
2-8 plus 2-8 equals to 536. So object 536. Here we go. Campen's looking to get C though, but HLV are committing their tanks mostly to C as well. Hit points are still with HLV, but by a tiny little margin. C might be captured, or by ID they got it. It can be very important though. But HLV they are swarming the C side, so Campen and also for me needs to be really careful. However, 771 is also taking some hits here. Hit points still with ID, and it's going to be really close to call. LDS receiving a hit as well, and Active Duty coming, going really aggressively, looking to shut down Sarutsu. I think he is looking to kill Sarutsu. Sarutsu is indeed the trouble HLV. Unlike what they did on Vineyards, it seems they are struggling with this map. ID is a lot more prepared, and even if they are not going to take double 2-8, left behind is going to be very isolated. So HLV, the Crown Vargas might have set way too far behind, and that allows Sarutsu and also left behind to be focused down by ID very quickly. And as I said, you want a horizontal straight line, because otherwise you made it easy for the other team to focus you down. They know which tank to focus. It's obvious. If they're staying in the horizontal straight line, it's less obvious. With Active Duty now did, I would say ID almost 3,000 hit points of advantage, and they look really strong. They're heading into the grand final, surely meeting GV, and HLV will be settling for the 3rd place. Spartan Sword running around, going to the backside, looking to kill 771. No, it's going to be the case. And Lanny going up, and Koyu with T135. Campen's going to put a great shot into Koyu. It is going to be the case. LDS and Lanny looking for, and Joy Solo Q. Hello, Q, how are you doing? Hello, Kopaka as well. Radioactive now down to 1 shot. And look at these 3 tanks bullying Joy Solo Q. Radioactive is now dead. Safety Zone is also taken out. B is going to be captured by Spartan Sword. And that leaves Koyu, the last person standing. Great AG shell right here. ID are through to the grand final. The last one for me with that. Great. Unable to kill off Koyu though, but he's going to put his last shell in. To guillotine HLV or whoever that is. ID 6 tanks do more than 2,000 damage, and HLV only 3 tanks do more than 2,000 damage, and this is surely a great game for ID. I believe a room is going to be here very soon. It is going to be the case. And as you can see, we are back on Yamato Harbor for some odd reason. And you will know
And you can see the magic once I put 2-0 for ID. Yes. No. For some reason it is not working. Let me fix it from here. Interesting. Let's see if it's right now. Or that will be a little bit weird. You know, sometimes things don't happen the way you want. Yes, I got it right now. GB versus ID, just not the right logos. Oh well. Well, I don't know why. Interesting. Interesting. Don't know what happened there. Great. Indonesian clan RI. RI is an Indonesian. Feast. They won against. Oh, they lost to to EA 02 once again. That means it's going to be EA versus E7. Yeah, don't know what happened there. We only have 1 minute left to go. Ah, yes, it's now right. GV versus ID. We are on the right side. So things have been fixed. Nothing's wrong now. Hopefully it will continue to be like that in the next one. I don't know why it's not right, but now it's right. Let's go. GB versus ID on Yamato Harbor. GB on the north side, ID on the south side. They're doing something similar. I believe it's the same thing. Double IS4, double crown. a mouse, a T125, and a Victor's Light GB, double IS4, a Kron, a mouse, double T125, and a Victor's Light. Victor's Light. Professor, he's going to spot a lot of tanks up. If this is the case, great shot into Radioactive, Spartan Sword. Oh, shot's been fired, but they can't connect into Spartan Sword. So it's a bit lucky for them. Spartan Sword in particular not to take a hit there. And Campen's going to go into C. Oh, Spartan Sword took a hit by Tokyo. Great shot right here. And if Campen's going to get C, that means cap points will be with ID. Unless they're able to reset, it's going to be a reset shot by Yogai Govinda. Monaco looking at C, preventing ID from getting control of C. But they're looking to capture B as well with LDS and that mouse. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a close one. And it's a reset shot as well. GB is not allowing ID to capture any base at all. And they're now down by more than 1,000 hit points here. A lot of the tanks have now received shots, and great job by GB now punishing the mouses. And ID has made a great play over to Tokyo. They have to kill off Tokyo as soon as possible though. The mouses can hold for that long. They had to get Tokyo out of the game. And hit points still of GB at the moment here, so getting a gun out would be crucial. And the next tank they want to go for would be Berlin, but Mouse, LDS will be looking to stay on as long as he could, but he's now down to one shot and he's taken up by Doha. Yogai Govinda is running, it's going forwards to run away from ID's main group of forces. And still, GB with a hit point pool advantage. Yogai Govinda going back to look at Radioactive, but that shot didn't penetrate Yogai Govinda. Only a track shot though. Active Duty and Radioactive double tap onto Yogai Govinda. Radioactive now down to one shot. Active Duty trying to shield. Radioactive Yogai Govinda can only put the shot into Active Duty. Yogai Govinda is now dead with Radioactive killed by Berlin. It's now going to be 5 versus 5. Hit points still with GB. GB is leading by a lot. And Nub is still really healthy, that mouse, and so is Professor, that and Victor's Light. It's gonna be really hard for ID to make a win here. It's all about GB picking up the pieces. And Professor's going in to Lasso for me and Spartan Swords. He's getting out of it though. But Berlin's now killed, so it's now going to be 4 versus 5. ID is trying their best, but it's going to be enough here. Nub is still really healthy in that Mouse, and he's running around in circles with Landy, so it's all about killing off Monaco and Professor here. But GB is missing a lot of shells. That can be really costly. Monaco is now killed. Radioactive is now one shot killed by Doha. It's now 3 versus 4. Hit points still GB, and it's still extremely close. 3 minutes left to go. If ID is able to survive for another 3 minutes, they will win this one by caps. And Professor is now dead, so that means it's now 2 versus 4. How did ID make a comeback here? Spartan Sword kills off Doha. That leaves Nutmage, the last person standing. What on earth is happening here? How did GB, leading in hit points by almost 2,000 for the entirety of the game, throw away such a big opportunity, a winning opportunity here? ID 4 one-shots. Nutmage will be having a tough decision, killing the tank, killing which tank they want to go for. Nutmage is now killed by Lasso for me. What a turnaround for ID. It makes it 1-0 for ID now. GV, 6 tanks do more than 2,000 damage. It's good, but ID, the last minutes, they really held their breath. They didn't fluster. They aren't phased at all. 5 tanks doing more than 2,000 damage, and with that solidarity they displayed, they deserve to win this one. And GB, I think they've done everything right up until the last minute there. It was, I think they kind of got too comfortable, thinking they have a solid hit point pool advantage. They are unable to kill the tanks off. It came back and bit them really hard. So it is going to be ID 1-0. This is not Wargaming official. No, this broadcast is pretty much personal and homemade. Unless Wargaming sends me some graphics to use, then I'll be happy to use those. But they aren't doing that. Obviously, they want to reserve the best for their channel, and not for our channels. But it doesn't matter because integrity. We're talking about integrity here. We don't want to, we don't want to have want to be kind of uniform with the art style we go for. GV will be going for double IS4 by Berlin and Tokyo, double T125 by Yoga Govinda and Monaco, Professor the Vickers like Doha, Kran, Nubbage, Mouse. On the other hand, ID, they're taking a 2-8 this time, once again, from the north side. Last time it worked really well. Is it going to be Lanny playing this tank? Definitely Lanny, the player who did 5,000 damage, more than 5,000 damage in his 2-8. Can he work his magic out once again on Yamato Harbor, camping in the ice for LDS, Mouse, Last for Me, and Active Duty, double T125, Spartan Sword, VK 90.01p, and Radioactive in the Vickers Light Professor. And that Vickers Light swallowing up some tanks. No, no one's going to stream the Silver Series later on the EU. Tokyo might be looking for C. And ID is going a little bit defensive. Let's look at Lanny at the moment here, with Spartan Sword looking to go into B as well. GB will get a cap lead on C, so it requires ID to make a rotation instead. Oh, at the same time, LDS and Cameron will be getting A, and I don't think Spartan Sword is going to be able to get B unless he is going into the pile of rubble here, which he can try to hold down, but it's going to be hard. We are also seeing Radioactive treading dangerous waters, dangerous territory, because he's pretty much isolated here. He doesn't have a lot of support, maybe from Last for Me, and maybe Radioactive and Activity and Lanny here. ID, LDS, and Spartan Sword dropped some hit points, but not GB. ID basically has to trade a lot better than GB. They are down by almost 1,000 hit points inherently, so they have made a good shot to Nubish, and so far Lanny hasn't been able to do a lot of damage. And let's go back to Lanny. He's able to put a shot into Doha. No, it's not a shot. It's not a pan. Campen doing really well up here, up front, capturing B as well, putting a shot into Nut Edge. So cap points are going to go back to ID's favor, and GB will be the one that needs to make a rotation. And Nut Edge is now going to be really low. LDS needs to come in to support the tanks over to B, because they are now going to be surrounded by GV's forces, and ID, Campen the Spartan Sword, is going to rush forwards, and LDS is going to support the tanks in the middle. Activity is going in as well, and I think Lanny, it's in that 2-8. Let's go back to see his perspective. He's going to put a great shot into Tokyo. Is it going to be the case? It is going to be the case. Great shot right here, but ID still not leading in terms of hit points. They're still looking to put shots into Nut Edge, but he bounces a shot though. And ID is in trouble. They are in chaos down in the middle, and not even Lanny. Lanny is going to get closer to where all the action's happening. Spartan Sword is now dead, so hit points are with GB by more than 2k, and LDS is now dead. So gun advantage to GB as well. It's going to be 6 versus 4, potentially 6 versus 3. Campen doing his absolute best, but I don't think it's going to help anyway. ID, Lanny is kind of invisible throughout the entire game, so it's kind of hard to play with that 2-8. Campen's going to go down to Professor, and that means it's going to be 5 versus 2. Radioactive putting a great shot into Yoga Govinda, and Lanny's still really healthy. Not a great shot into Professor.
Splash actually damaged there, and Radioactive is going to be taken out by Berlin and Monaco, and now Lanny still reloading. It's going to put a shell into Tokyo, and it's going to be the case, and Lanny's now down to one shot and will be killed by Yoga Gavina. GV will be winning by caps as well, getting B in the middle of the game, and that means it's going to be 1-1 for both teams. GV 3 tags to more than 2k. Lanny once again doing a lot of damage, but it's more to do with the action going on in the middle. They are forced to make a move, and nothing you can do about that. They are quite loose with the setup they have, the formation they are displaying at that moment. So here we go. Faust is the tiebreaker map. Hello, Pencil Case, how you doing? Meanwhile, let's see, we have results for E8 versus E7. Okay, still playing. And how about the Silver Series? Oh, it's going to be a best of 5. So, so whichever team wins the first 3 matches will win this group. So, Faust, GV, Berlin in the ice for double T125 by Yogain and Monaco, double Crown by Doha, Nut Edge, Tokyo, Ice 4 and Vicus Light will be played by Professor. ID will be playing double Ice 4 by Campen and Landy, double Crown by Radioactive Duty, double T125 by LDS and On You. I think the first time we saw him play tonight. Spartan Sword will be playing the Vicus Light this time. Plan leaked. Oh. Both of them just laughing about I think that last game pretty much about the T8 Landy doing more than 5,000 damage. But anyway, Professor looking to get into B D very quickly, and he's not going to be the one spotting though. The C is going to be captured by a lot of 2 tanks. So is it going to be ID that gets a cap lead instead of GV? It's going to be ID getting the cap lead instead of GV. Professor needs to run away. Spotted. Oh, run. Forrest, run. I think Lanny's going to put a shot here. Oh, tracked. Oh, double tapped. Oh, Professor. Oh, man. They will be getting AS, but he's tracked us again. Oh no. Professor, I don't think he will be happy about this. Now down to a 2-shot Lanny taking a hit. And hit puts out with ID. Poor old Professor also taking Oh my gosh. My huge commiserations to Professor. He has done nothing wrong. He got tracked a couple of times, and maybe it's not a good idea to get Vicus Light to capture D next time. And ID has done really well to stop that from running away, and now GB has to do really well. They have to find an isolated tank, but so far they aren't able to do so. Camden might have taken some hits here, and actually ID is more likely to kill another tank instead of GV. Berlin's going to be taken out by 2 tanks. Meanwhile, with ID, On You and Active Duty on top, they're looking for Doha. So I believe ID has a great advantage, but Campen has been taken out very quickly. It's going to be 6 versus 6. Yogai Govinda is going to be killed by Active Duty and On You. Great shot into Doha, and LDS will be the focus for GB. They aren't able to kill off Berlin yet. And Doha crashed onto that oil tanker. Berlin is finally dead. It's now 4 versus 6. Hit points still with ID, and I think ID will take this win. And LDS is now one shot. Will be taken up by Tokyo. No, it's a bounce. Monaco is dead. Active Duty is killed. 3 versus 4 now, with LDS killed by Nubbage. And Doha is now down to a one shot. He will be killed by Lanny, and Spartan Sword. The Vickers Light still really healthy. Nubbage is now tracked. I think he got the perma track though. Another shot into Nubbage by Spartan Sword. Spartan Sword got rammed by Nubbage. A little bit careless right here. Nubbage is going to be the focus for ID, and ID, that kill on Professor is the winning move pretty much, and I feel really sorry for Professor. But when you are given the opportunity to kill a tank, you want to take it. No one is going to empathize you for not being for being generous, for being kind. It's all about being ruthless in this game, or whatever it is. GV 2 tanks doing more than 2k. ID 5 tanks doing more than 2k. And we are back on Faust. It's much match point to ID. Do we have a result for EA versus C7? They're still playing, so it's probably not 3-0. GV will have triple T125, double IS4, Avicus Light and a Crown Bar and ID, double Crown, Avicus Light, double T125 and double IS4. And match point to ID. Potentially ID can win this one. Match up. I'm doing fine. I'm a bit tired after staying up for the NA server early on. Only had around 6 hours of sleep, so hopefully I don't have to stream very long for the NA server, and then I can focus on Asia server tomorrow. In the Bronze Series, 5th Bronze Series tournament, 4th Bronze Series tournament, you'll be seeing a lot of great games as always. GV, Red Team, North Spawn, ID Blue Team, South Spawn. Yes, don't forget to like the stream. Thank you, Stain, for pointing it out. C is going to be captured by Monaco, but I think IU is going to capture D with 2 tanks. Campen is just going past D at this point, and they're just going really aggressive. C is going to be captured by GV, so GV has to capture. This time, Campen's just going round. I think he can put a shot into Berlin. It is the case. Berlin crashed. Not really crashed. He is in the bush right now. Van Persie trying his hand on Berlin, but I don't think it worked. Hello, Nomad, how are you doing? We are also seeing LDS in that area, and ID is just going really aggressive now. Are they able to push GV out? But they are pushing onto the line of defense of GV. No, Campen is going to get C. This is going to elicit respawns for GV. They haven't sent anyone to reset C. Positioning problem here for GV. And ID is able to get C without any trouble at all. It puts still with GV. And Professor is looking for Campen now. Let's head down. Campen 1 versus 1 against Professor. Oh, he's going to be joined by Berlin. It's not going to be good. Needs for Campen. Campen is going to focus the mouse. alongside Spartan Sword. Seems this is the tank they can take out in together. At the same time, we are seeing LDS active duty and Lanny already pushing. Campbell is now killed, and Berlin is now down to one shot. Hit points are neck and neck. LDS is going to push shots into Professor instead of Capricorn. Great choice here. Active duty is going to go down. Van Persie is now dead. That means it's going to be 6 versus 5. A lot of action happening around here, but it's 3 versus 2. So GV has the hit point pulled up, has the numerical advantage over this area. Berlin is now killed. Active duty is now killed. Radioactive is now killed. Lanny puts a great shot into Monaco, and Professor's coming around to support GV's forces. And Capricorn is going to be killed by LDS. There's so much happening over here. Lanny is going to be killed very quickly, and I think Lanny is looking to get into Monaco. And Spartan Sword kills off Monaco. And let's look at the Spartan Sword chasing Professor, but it's 3 versus 2. It's going to be really hard for ID to make a comeback here. I mean, especially LDS is doing a 1 versus 2 here. Professor's just running as quickly as he could to prevent getting shot by Spartan Sword. He got tracked once. Spartan Sword's definitely going to put a shell here. This time, puts a great shell to Professor, and LDS would not survive for long. Bounces onto Tokyo, but Spartan Sword kills off Professor. And I believe Tokyo kills off LDS, and it's now 2 versus 1 for GV. And Doha dropped down to get into C in the spectacular fashion. And Spartan Sword, it's going to go down in flames. And I don't think, he's trying to get bases. He's trying to get A. I can still win this one. By Caps. They know where they are, so they're going for D immediately. I think they might want to go back to C though. This could be the base they want to go for. Doha is going for B. He might go for a reset though. He can't spot up anyone on B. He has to be really careful going into B though. He's actually a clip away from getting killed by Doha. So he's praying that it's not going to be Doha capturing B. It's actually Tokyo getting B. But now GV has 3 caps. Spartan Sword needs to run away. I think the caps go in favor of GV now, but GV is now really spread out, so don't know what's going to happen. But GV could overtake ID in caps, and if Spartan Sword goes into C, and he spotted himself, and he hasn't spotted up Tokyo, which can be a great opportunity here. And Doha is now... Oh, he's on fire though. Oh, I feel sorry. Oh, it's a big bounce as well. Basically, Doha's 3 shots away. They're looking for C. For A. Spartan Sword 3 bounces on the run, and he got killed by Doha. Went down in a whimper, and we are now going to be looking at the tiebreaker situation. 2-2 as it stands for both teams. GV 4 tanks do more than 2,000 damage, and ID 4 tanks do more than 2,000 damage. As always, pushing into the main defensive line of the other team doesn't work. If the other team does really well in hit point pool sharing and also bouncing shots, ID aren't able to break through pretty much, and it's going to be Cam's dear for both teams. Okay, let's look at E8 versus E7 after our matches finished. E7 won E8 3-2, so it was a close one in the end. On the other hand, let's look at the Silver Series after they finished. Okay, they finished. Der won the group in the end. They won Wild 2-0 and they won PGMT 3-0. So They didn't start well, but they gradually picked up the momentum, and it's now they're going to advance further in the cups leaderboard. GB and ID are going to announce Spartan Sword, not Lanny. Why is Lanny not playing the 268? It says Lanny's tank, not Spartan Sword's tank. So I think there is a coup happening in ID. I feel sorry for Lanny, but he's going to play in the T125 instead, alongside LDS, Spartan Sword 268, Crown Wagon by Active Duty and Radioactive, Double IS4 by Campen and Van Persie. And we are seeing GB, Double IS4 by Berlin and Tokyo, Crown by Doha, sorry. Triple T125 by Capricorn, Yoga, and Monaco with Professor in the biggest light. So let's look at Professor for a moment here. And ID is going to commit their forces over to see Professor is unable to get some spots because so far away. But he's more up Campen than Percy though, and they get C because Professor's there to reset, but Campen, as you can see from Professor's perspective, is hiding nicely behind the rock. So ID will get a cap lead on C, and GB meanwhile will be getting a cap lead on A. They won't get a cap lead, but they will get a cap on A. So it's just only one cap away from flipping, and Berlin takes a hit from Lanny. Great shot right here. And Lanny is not taking any hits in return. So at the moment, ID is trading better. They have a hit point pool advantage now. But they also took a hit with Lanny there from Professor. But it's just a biggest light. So in the end, ID did more damage. Tokyo also received another hit. B is going to be captured by ID, so that means there will be 8 cap points of increase per second, and GB would have to act quickly though, because they won't have a lot of time. They are trying their best to reset B, however. I mean, we can look at Professor halfway up the hill. He might be able to reset Van Persie once again, but he can't. ID will be getting B now. And GB has dropped a lot of hit points, now down to 1,000, down to 1,000 hit points of deficit. So they have to absolutely find the weakness. They don't have a lot of time left, and this is not the position that GB wants to be in. No, you won't get any free collectors. You won't get any rewards. So no keys for everyone. We are also seeing Professor Berlin is taking more hits if GB keeps on dropping hit points. I wonder how they're going to rotate, because they have to do a lot of stuff in order to make it happen. Double T125 dropping speed boost and trying to back away from the onslaught of GB. Yoga Govinda receives another big shot, and GB is just pushing through. They're looking for LDS and Lanny. Yoga Govinda also received a terrible shot. Spartan Sword is going to put in a lot of big alpha, and ID is leading by more than 3,000 hit points. It's really unlikely that GB is going to make a comeback here, and Spartan Sword kills off Yoga Govinda, and ID might be looking for a counter push now. GB, their initial idea to push off the northeastern corner backfired completely. They are now outnumbered, and Professor is going to get into C, but it's not about getting a caps at this point. It's all about saving your teammates and making it close. Lanny's now killed, and Tokyo is going to be a one-shot. Capricorn is dead. Berlin is dead. It's now 3 versus 6. ID looks really convincing now. Tokyo is now dead, and B is going to be captured by Doha, but it's going to be reset by Campen Van Persie swimming in the river, and we are seeing Professor looking to get the backside of Campen. And despite the cap stop, 1 kill would mean ID would win by caps. So they have to hurry up. ID needs to kill off Professor, and LDS is just right there to finish the matters off. And that means ID 3-2 GB. Well done to ID. I think GB, they dropped so many hit points while trying to figure out how to rotate. And in the end, I think dropping so many hit points and also down by caps as well. They only had 1 cap with ID having 2. That gave a lot of pressure to GB, and they don't have a good idea how to rotate here, unfortunately. So that means GB 2 tanks doing more than 2k, ID 5 tanks doing more than 2k. So in the end, GB will be winning, will be losing 2-3. Commiserations and congratulations to ID. Okay, let's also update the leaderboard now. You know, HLV finished 3rd, EA finished 2nd, Kane 4th, GB 2nd, E7 1st, ID 1st, Feast 3rd, Dur 1st, PGMT. Oh, let's look at PGMT 2nd because they lost to the 0-3. So here we are. Okay, the cups. Asia server, GB 16,741 cups. They're leading in the 1st place. 2nd place it will be Feast. 3rd place HLV, E7 4th place, ID 5th place, King 6th place, EA 7th place, and 9V 8th place. Dur is closing in to the 8th place with 11,526 cups. Only Dur and Wild are able to overtake both RN and ECG on the leaderboard. So RN and ECG still have a chance in the next Gold Series. RN still has a gold ticket, and I think ECG as well. So I think they have a great chance to get back into the top 8. And the top 8 battle is definitely heating up. Asia server hasn't disappointed me yet, and I don't think they will. And that's it for the stream. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all on the EU server. And I'll see you soon. Bye for now.